The resilient tale of James, surviving betrayal and seeking justice. My name is James Turner, and I believed I had the perfect life. I lived in the quiet suburb of Greenfield, nestled in Denver, Colorado, with my wife, Sarah. We had been married for 8 years and shared a beautiful home, a successful chain of upscale restaurants, and 2 wonderful children. I thought we were happy. I thought we were a team. But little did I know, a dark shadow loomed over our seemingly idyllic life. Sarah was everything to me. She was beautiful, charming, and an exceptionally talented interior designer. Her job often took her to elite social circles, and I was proud of her success. I never questioned her late nights or the increasing number of business dinners. I trusted her implicitly. However, while I was working tirelessly to expand our business and provide for our family, Sarah was living a double life. She had met David, a wealthy businessman, during one of her projects. Their affair started with harmless flirtations and quickly grew into a passionate, secret relationship. I had no idea that while I was at home with our children, Sarah was with another man, blaming me for a life she felt trapped in. As their affair deepened, so did Sarah's resentment towards me. Divorce was not an option for her. It would mean a messy legal battle, a loss of wealth, and possibly losing our children. So Sarah and David devised a plan to eliminate me permanently. They knew my routines well. I loved hiking and often went on solitary hikes in the nearby mountains. Sarah decided this would be the perfect setting for a fatal accident. One autumn morning, Sarah suggested we go hiking together. I was thrilled. It had been a while since we spent quality time together, and I hoped it would help rekindle our relationship. We set off early, enjoying the crisp air and beautiful scenery. As we reached a secluded part of the trail, Sarah pretended to slip and called out for my help. My instinct was to rush to her aid. That's when she pushed me over the edge of a steep cliff. I remember the fall vividly, the feeling of betrayal, confusion, and the sharp pain as I hit the rocks below. But against all odds, I survived. My body was battered and broken, but I was alive. I found myself at the bottom of a ravine, hidden from view. My first instinct was to call for help, but I quickly realized that no one would find me here. I needed to save myself. With sheer determination and the thought of my children driving me, I began to crawl. Every movement was agony, but I refused to give up. I spent hours, perhaps even days, struggling through the rugged terrain, using all my strength to find a way out. Eventually, I stumbled upon a hiker who immediately called for help. I was rushed to the hospital, where I remained unconscious for several days. When I finally regained consciousness, the full extent of Sarah's betrayal hit me. The doctors were amazed at my survival, but they also informed me of something more chilling. Sarah had already reported me missing, and my accidental death was widely assumed. My first thoughts were of my children and the life we had built together. I knew I couldn't return immediately. I needed to gather evidence and build a case against Sarah and David. I spent weeks recovering in the hospital, during which time I hired a private investigator. I shared my suspicions and the events leading up to the fall. The investigator uncovered the affair between Sarah and David, along with their plans. Text messages, emails, and even financial transactions painted a damning picture of their intent to murder me for their own gain. During this time, I stayed in the shadows, communicating with close friends and family through the investigator. They were shocked and horrified but agreed to keep my survival a secret until we could expose Sarah and David. Once I had gathered enough evidence, it was time to return and confront my betrayers. With the help of the private investigator and law enforcement, we orchestrated a dramatic return. It was a crisp morning, much like the one when Sarah had tried to kill me. I walked into our home, where Sarah was hosting a small gathering of friends. The shock on her face was palpable. She stammered, trying to compose herself, but it was too late. The police entered, presenting her with the evidence of her affair and their plan to kill me. David was also arrested at his office. The look of betrayal and fear in their eyes was a bitter satisfaction. Sarah and David were both charged with attempted murder and conspiracy. During the trial, the full extent of their betrayal was laid bare. Their sordid affair and calculated plan to eliminate me shocked our community. Sarah's composed demeanor crumbled as the evidence mounted against her. David, in an attempt to save himself, turned against Sarah, providing even more damning evidence. They were both found guilty. Sarah was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, and David received a lengthy prison sentence. The justice system had prevailed, but the emotional scars they left would take years to heal. Returning to normal life was a slow and painful process. My children struggled to understand why their mother had done what she did, and it took time for them to come to terms with the betrayal. I focused on rebuilding our lives one step at a time. Friends and family rallied around us, providing the support we needed to heal. I resumed running our restaurant chain, finding solace in the work that I loved. The community, aware of what had happened, offered overwhelming support. Over time, I even began to trust again, opening my heart to new possibilities. My story is one of betrayal, survival, and resilience. It serves as a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can prevail. Trust, once broken, can lead to unimaginable consequences, but with determination and support, we can rebuild our lives. The tale of Sarah and James Turner is a tragic lesson in deceit, but it also stands as a testament to the strength of the human will to survive and seek justice.